Hi, I'm Jamie Noguchi, and this is... Today is Godzilla Day, because really, every day should be Godzilla Day. Not only is he the king of all monsters, but he was an early pioneer in the Tokusatsu genre. Without Godzilla's fame and popularity, Tokusatsu today just wouldn't have impressive enemies to fight. Kaiju design wouldn't look as cool, and kaiju suit acting wouldn't be the refined art that it is now. So us Tokusatsu fans owe a great deal of gratitude to the big guy. So I've been a kaiju groupie for a very long time. I guess kids growing up, most kids go through a dinosaur phase, like, big Stegosaurus or Triceratops stomping through the yard. That's a cool image. But they don't really have that much personality to grab onto. Like, you go to the museum and you see these great big bones and they're huge and they're really impressive and you're like, wow! And then there's a painting of what it might have looked like and it's like, ooh! And then you kind of grow out of it because they don't move and all the depictions of them are either really cartoony or all this stuff. So I don't know, the dinosaur phase didn't last too long for me. But when I discovered Godzilla, oh boy, I could totally latch on to Godzilla. Like, here is this force of nature that just doesn't give a shit about what you think or what you want to do. Like, you can't control Godzilla. You can't tell Godzilla to walk over here or to go over here or be calm or any of that shit. Like, if there is something in Godzilla's way, he's going to step on it. He's going to smash through buildings because they're in his way. He wants to get over here, and there's a thing in the way, and he just stomps through it. And I don't know. I think that appealed to me as a very small child because, I'm not a big person now, and I was pretty small growing up, and, you get picked on as a kid. So, the idea that you could be this giant force of nature that no one fucks with, I think appealed to me. So he's represented this powerful idea of just not giving a shit, just doing what you want to do. And so I think that aspect of Godzilla really appealed to me, and it's made him one of my favorite monsters throughout all the other things that I've ever seen. So it's kind of cool to see that we're getting another version of Godzilla in the theater right now. This is actually the 5th American-produced Godzilla film. The first one came out in 1956 and was called Godzilla, King of Monsters. It starred Raymond Burr, and they sort of did a Power Rangers thing where they took original Japanese footage and mixed it in with Raymond Burr doing his thing with an American cast. So I guess we have Godzilla to blame for what would later occur with Super Sentai in America. In 1985, they did a sequel to that first film called Godzilla 1985, and it once again starred Raymond Burr, and they did the same thing. They didn't shoot any new original footage for it. 1963 brought us King Kong vs. Godzilla. Now, there are 2 endings to this film. If you saw the version that was cut for the Japanese audience, it is clear that Godzilla reigns supreme. But if you saw the version that was cut for an American audience, it's maybe not so clear that King Kong came out ahead. And this wishy-washiness has been a point of contention for nerds ever since. Like, who would win in a real fight, Godzilla or King Kong? Me personally, I think you know where my heart lies in this debate because, fur is flammable and nuclear breath tends to burn things. So, even if King Kong has more reach, like arm length, Godzilla would burn him to a crisp. So, but whatever, we can debate that some other time. And now we come to the most disappointing film in the entire franchise, the 1998 Godzilla, whatever the fuck that was. It didn't even fucking look like Godzilla. It was awful. It was fucking awful, and I'm so impressed that Toho trusted an American production company with Godzilla again, because after the 98 Godzilla film, why would you trust an American production company with anything that had to do with kaiju ever? It was just... oof. I could go on for hours and hours about how fucking awful it was, but I will spare you. I will spare you. Which brings us to the 2014 Godzilla movie, which is in theaters now, and I think everyone should go see it because we need this to make a lot of money so we can have more Godzilla movies. It's so cool. But before I get into the nitty-gritty, because I have positives and I have negatives about this film, you have to understand that there are two types of Godzilla movies. The first type is Godzilla versus man, where Godzilla comes and destroys Tokyo or whatever city, sort of as a warning to mankind that if you keep fucking with nuclear technology and destroying nature, nature will kick your ass in the form of Godzilla. So it's sort of like Godzilla is nature's revenge upon mankind. And then there's the second type of Godzilla, where it's Godzilla versus another monster. And these movies usually center around that other monster because we already know about Godzilla. So like if you have a movie like Godzilla versus Rodan or Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla or Godzilla versus Ghidorah, most of the movie will focus on the other monster. And the other monster will either be like an ancient evil come to destroy mankind, or a creature from space, or aliens have dropped this monster. And Godzilla is there to kick the shit out of this other monster and saves us as a side effect, but mostly Godzilla wants to kick the shit out of the other monster. So the 2014 Godzilla movie sort of falls into the second category. It's not necessarily a Godzilla movie. It's sort of a Godzilla kicks the shit out of another monster movie. And if you're an old school Godzilla fan, and if you've watched a lot of Godzilla films, it fits nicely within that continuity. Like, so, you know, every once in a while, Toho will reboot their timeline, and it's kind of a weird sort of web of trying to figure out which Godzilla movie relates to which other Godzilla movies, and there are multiple timelines and all that kind of stuff. But the 2014 Godzilla movie kind of fits somewhere nicely in there. As a standalone Godzilla film, I'm not sure it's that successful. Most of the time is spent talking about the Mutos, the other creatures in the film. Muto stands for, let me see if I got this right, massive unidentified terrestrial organism. And there are two of them throughout the movie, and most of the time is spent following them, trying to figure out how to stop them or what they want to do and all that kind of stuff. So as an introduction to Godzilla to a new audience that maybe has never seen Godzilla, I don't think that this is the way that I would have preferred it to go. I kind of wanted to feel, so it's not that I wanted to see more Godzilla. I'm fine with the fact that Godzilla shows up, an hour into the movie and we only see, parts of him, and we don't see a big reveal until like maybe the last 20 minutes of the film. I love that, I love that in Jaws, you don't see Jaws until the very end, mostly because the robot didn't work. But that's cool. Like, I love that you only see these monsters at the end. Alien, the original Alien, same thing. You just see hints of it throughout the movie, and then at the last minute, it's like, rah, comes out at you. I love the fact that they kept Godzilla, sneaking out through the end, and at the end, that's when the big reveal was. But what disappointed me about this film is that you didn't feel that menace of Godzilla throughout the entire film. The movie is really about the Mutos. The movie is really about these two little kaiju that are trying to find each other and mate and have babies and all that kind of stuff. I wanted this movie to be about Godzilla. When you watch Jaws, the movie, you never see Jaws, but the movie is definitely about Jaws. When you see, we'll talk about a modern movie, when you see Desolation of Smaug, Smaug shows up at the end of the movie, but throughout the entire first film and the second film, his presence was felt. You knew that there was this dragon under the mountain. You knew that there was this dragon hoarding the treasure. You knew that this dragon had devastated the land. You could feel Smaug's presence even though he wasn't on screen. And that's kind of what I wanted for this Godzilla. I wanted this Godzilla to be the star of the film. Like, I thought Bryan Cranston did a great job of hooking you emotionally into the movie from his stuff in the beginning of the movie, and the end of the movie was amazing. It's just this middle part that's kind of gets lost. Like, Sure, you follow Kick-Ass and his journey away on his home, on his journey back to his family and to save them and all that kind of bullshit. And he just happens to be wherever the Mutos are. But you rarely hear them mention Godzilla again. You have Ken Watanabe. He says Godzilla somewhere in the middle there, and then it's all about the Mutos. And that was the biggest thing that I felt. That was the biggest disappointment for me, because I was trying to look at it from two angles. Well, of course, I'm a huge Godzilla fan, so I've seen a bunch of the other movies, so I'm fine with this being a Godzilla versus other monsters. But I was trying to look at it from the perspective of someone just coming into a Godzilla film, and I was really disappointed. I didn't feel like Godzilla was looming behind. You know, I didn't mind that Godzilla was hanging out with the aircraft carriers and swimming along with them and all that kind of stuff. That's fine. Like, if you want to do that, that's fine. I just wanted more. I wanted more of that impact throughout the entire film. I just wanted more of that. Oh shit! Comes Godzilla. Let's talk about where he's from. Maybe, you know, we can stop him with this. Maybe we can stop him with that. And it was all of that planning and all of that stuff was focused on the Mutos and not Godzilla. However, what we did see of Godzilla was fucking amazing. This Godzilla is gigantic, and throughout the other films, you know, he kind of changes size depending on who's making the film and all that kind of stuff and budget constraints. This Godzilla, I need to see more of this Godzilla. Like, you know, that first scene when and I guess I should mention that there are going to be spoilers in this, but honestly, you can figure out what happens in the movie. Godzilla kicks ass. There you go. End of story. But his introduction, like the first time where you see him face off against the Muto and you're looking through the plane and you see the Muto. Oh, he's plane size. That's pretty big. And then Godzilla's foot comes down and it's like, holy shit. This is the biggest Godzilla we've ever seen. And that was really, really impressive. I've never felt that impact. Like, and I saw it in 3D, and I think it's worth seeing in 3D, so you see that giant foot come down and just shake the theater, and it's like, holy shit! Shit is about to happen, and the camera, of course, pans to something else, but whatever, it's a stylistic thing. I dug it, I like that, you know, I don't need to see monster on monster fights all the time. I just wish there was more Godzilla throughout the film. But yeah, Godzilla was amazing. I love the way they did the fire breath, where you saw the tail glow and it just grow up to his spines and then just. And the fight that we did get to see, where he's fighting the Mama Muto, so fucking awesome. Just bang, 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 bang. Just. I want to see Gypsy Danger and this Godzilla fight each other. They're both Legendary Pictures. I hope Legendary can get Guillermo on board and they have, like, I don't know, maybe a fan trailer or something like that. So amazing. It was just so great seeing this version of Godzilla. I want to see more. So I hope everyone goes out to see this movie. It's making a ton of money as it is. It's the most successful American produced Godzilla film, and there have been 4 previous ones. So, you know, it's not... It's pretty impressive. Like, we've kind of screwed up 4 times, and 5th time we've done it right. So I hope this movie continues to make a lot of money, because I want to see more of this Godzilla. I hope the next movie either has more Godzilla fights in it, or at least focuses more on Godzilla. But yeah, I need to see more of this Godzilla. It was just so amazing, and I think in that respect, this movie was successful, because even though I had a huge problem with the middle parts of it, and I actually did get bored. I got bored following the Mutos. I didn't give a shit about the Mutos, and consequently, I didn't give a shit about the people. I thought the acting was good, and they did well with what they were given, but I was expecting a Godzilla movie, and this was a Godzilla versus other monster movie. But you know, they made me want more of Godzilla, and I guess in that respect they've really succeeded. And apparently a lot of people are really loving this film, so that's pretty cool. Like, it's cool for someone who's loved this geeky subgenre for a long time to now see that, like, a lot of other people are liking it too. So I hope I hope people go see this movie. I hope it makes a shit ton of money, and I hope we get a sequel in the next year or the next 2 years or some down the road, because this Godzilla, we need more of this Godzilla. He's huge, he's massive, he's angry. He's got this massive grimace on his face. It's just, this is the ultimate Godzilla. It's awesome. All right, so that's gonna do it for this Tokusatsu Time. Thank you for sitting with me. I hope you all go out and check out Godzilla in the theaters now. And if you'd like to see some of the earlier movies, Godzilla is all over the place on Hulu and Netflix, and you can, find downloads and all that kind of stuff. So Godzilla, yes, check him out. He's the first, the best, the greatest Tokusatsu actor of all. Thank you.